unstoppable in the Divas division. I enjoyed seeing her resemble a CM Punk character for the Divas division, kind of like how CM Punk was the longest reigning champion of the last 25 years, but that kind of became old when AJ returned and won the title for a second time. You knew the second reign of AJ was going to be nowhere near the length of her previous reign, because the previous reign was pushing AJ into a direction to be a dominant diva. And once she established herself, then Paige won the championship the night after WrestleMania 30, and AJ winning the title was just to signify that she was back after being gone for 2 months after previously losing the title the night after WrestleMania 30 and surviving a 14 Diva Invitational match to retain her championship, which was the last successful title defense that AJ had as Divas champion before coming back to win it a second time. I appreciated what they did with AJ and making her reign very unpredictable. Having her defend the title on pay-per-view was great, and that's what they're going to have to do with someone like Summer Rae. They're going to have her defend the title on pay-per-view, because if they don't, it's going to take away the prestigiousness of the Divas Championship, which has taken them years to establish for that championship. It has to get a reputation, kind of like how the women's title had a phenomenal reputation, and the only way of doing that is by having Divas title matches on pay-per-view. You can't have them on editions of Raw or Main Event or Superstars. You have to have them on editions of pay-per-views and have it be meaningful. Have her defend the title at least once a month on pay-per-view and occasionally on WWE television. If you have to, have her defend it on Raw, SmackDown, Main Event, Superstars, whatever, whenever the case may be, but always make sure you get a scattered pay-per-view title defense in there at least 12 times a year, 12 to 13 times a year. Have it defended once every 30 days, and have it have the credibility that it needs to have, kind of like how the Women's Championship took years to establish. It's going to take the Divas title a while, but I think with so many incredible talents now in the Divas division and so many new talents coming over from NXT like Paige and Ava Marie, you couldn't have the Divas division heading in a better direction. And 6 months ago, I would have said the Divas division was in a very precarious position and a very impenetrable corner because there was seemingly no way out of it. They had nothing creative going on for the Divas division, but now you have a lot of creativity going on for the Divas division in comparison to 6 months ago when AJ was on top as Divas champion and seemed unstoppable. Nobody was in a position to take the title off of AJ, and that's the reason why AJ had the Divas Championship for as long as what she had it, because there was nobody in a position to take the title away from her. Now, after WrestleMania 30, when they were debuting new divas within the division and they were trying to do something with the Bella Twins, here comes Paige out of nowhere to win the title in less than 5 minutes in a very impressive debut, winning the title, falling into the same category of a Gail Kim who debuted in WWE in 2004 to win the championship in a battle royal, which was unexpected. She fell into that same category and established herself as a very impressive young 21-year-old from Norwich, England, and she brought a lot of international feel to the Divas division, kind of like how Lana is bringing a Russian and international feel to the Divas division as the representative of Alexander Rusev, which is an impressive way of still redistributing internationality to the Divas division, and I hope they keep up with that. They have American divas, they have Russian divas, they have Lithuanian divas in the way of Oksana. Now they have Paige, an English diva who was Divas champion, who's going to be Divas champion for a while before that title is taken off of her. And I somehow want to see Summer Rae fit into the whole thing with Paige and AJ. I would love to see it changed up a little bit. We have what's going on with the Bella Twins. We have Brie Bella and Stephanie's feud, which has taken place at SummerSlam, and of course it resulted in Nikki Bella joining the Authority. I appreciate that, but they have to have something else going on in the Divas division, and I wonder now how long it's going to be before Nikki Bella is given that opportunity at the Divas Championship. If either Brie Bella wins the title or Nikki Bella takes the title off someone like Paige to promote her heel turn, I wonder how that's going to affect the Divas division. Definitely it would set back Summer Rae, which is why I hope they don't take that direction of having Nikki Bella be Divas champion, either by defeating Paige or by defeating another diva. I hope they don't take that direction because it will set Summer Rae back. If anything, we need to have new number one contenders for the Divas Championship in the way of someone like Summer Rae, and we have to have someone like Summer Rae actually going as far to win the Divas Championship, because I think she is an incredible, incredible talent. And you may not agree with me. And to be honest with you, I'm expecting more people not to agree with me on my assumption of Summer Rae than I am to agree with me on Summer Rae being one of the top divas in the Divas division. You will say immediately, the critics out there will say she needs time to develop her skills, and 5-minute matches on Main Event and Superstars are not cutting it for Summer Rae. We need to have longer matches for Summer Rae. We need to have better ring attire, and we need to have a better gimmick for Summer Rae before she has something profitable going on with her character, and anything can be done in the way of making her Divas champion. But some of the most surprising Divas champions and women's champions have been crowned over the years. Nobody thought Kelly was going to win the Divas Championship, and nobody ever thought Eve Torres would win the Divas Championship or Layla will win the Divas Championship, but they have all done it. They have all had equal opportunities at the Divas Championship. So Summer Rae not giving her an opportunity at the Divas Championship would be kind of discriminating Summer Rae's character in the WWE, in my opinion. And if they're going to give her the title, they need to do something with her now before it is too late, because they can also head in the direction of ruining her character, which is something I don't want to see for someone like Summer Rae, because it seems like I've waited forever for a diva like her to come along, and I want something done with her character not before too long. I'm not talking about giving her an opportunity now at the Divas Championship with everything going on in the division as early as Night of Champions or Hell in a Cell or Survivor Series. At least give her an opportunity, at least 1 or 2 opportunities between now and the end of the year, if not early 2015. Something needs to be done with her character. Now, she hasn't been in the best matches in WWE Women's Wrestling history, but she has had some pretty impressive matches with Paige, who I just briefly mentioned here on this video blog on NXT. And if you don't believe me, all you have to do is YouTube the footage. And I've appreciated the matches between Summer Rae and Paige on NXT that much. They've thrown them up several times on our Facebook page at HEW Entertainment. It's a great representation of what the Divas division is truly supposed to be about. And I think that if they keep distributing matches like Summer Rae versus Paige on NXT, we're going to see some great divas making their debuts in WWE in due time, and it's going to go a long way in promoting the Divas division for the very near future and having it get better reviews than what it's been getting. And we've been having a lot of negative reviews thrown the way of the Divas division. There are a lot of issues, underlying issues, with the Divas division. That is the reason why we're having so many negative reviews thrown the way of the Divas division in the way of radio shows and written columns. I myself have been guilty of reviewing the Divas division very negatively, and I wish that I didn't have to review the Divas division as negatively as what I have over the last 6 to 8 months, but it's gotten better since I've been posting negative reviews of the Divas division along with everybody else. And I think that if we had more positive reviews of the Divas division, more would be being done with the Divas division. We would have longer matches than 5-minute matches. We'd have probably more than one Divas matches on Raw, SmackDown, and on pay-per-views. We'd have more going on for the Divas division in the way of distribution. And I think that it all goes back to how many negative reviews the Divas division has gotten. We kill off the negative reviews of the Divas division and start throwing more positive reviews of the way of the Divas division in the way of radio shows and columns, and then we're going to get more done with the Divas division. But until we get the attention the Divas division deserves to have on it, nothing is going to be done with it, and it's going to be still in the same position that it was 6 months ago, and that is really frustrating. But so much is going on for the Divas division, and Summer Rae is one of the biggest things going on right now. No matter if you want to agree with me or not, she is going to be a force to be reckoned with in the Divas division in due time, and she is going to be taken more seriously. If someone like Kelly, and I know I keep going back to the example of Kelly, but she kind of compares herself to Kelly so efficiently. You know, they're so similar, it's really frightening. I mean, they both came in, nobody really knew what to do with their characters, and years after nobody knew what to do with their characters, look at how far they have come. Summer Rae's come further, honestly, than Kelly did in the first 2 or 3 years of her career in WWE. It took her at least 4 to 5 years before she was taken seriously, and it's taken Summer Rae less than that to be taken seriously, because if you haven't seen any of her matches, especially her matches on NXT, the matches on Raw and SmackDown don't do Summer Rae any justice, and that is unfortunate. Summer Rae is a great wrestler, and the NXT matches are far more impressive than what she's been doing on Raw and SmackDown. A few wins over Natalya here and there isn't good enough. The ring attire that Summer Rae wears isn't good enough in comparison to her NXT ring attire and her NXT gimmick. She started off as a ring announcer, which is a lot of the time what we see happen with new divas who debut in WWE. They have some kind of on-screen character, like Candice Michelle was a makeup artist For instance, in 2005, they have some kind of on-screen role and some kind of on-screen character, and then they reveal themselves to be wrestlers. We had Alicia Fox be the therapist for Edge, the marriage counselor or something in 2006, and then she revealed herself to be a wrestler and a very impressive wrestler, and eventually went on to become a future Divas champion. So many divas have had gimmicks that have worked to get them into a wrestling role, and Summer Rae's gimmick obviously worked. Nobody thought she was going to reveal herself as a wrestler after spending months as a ring announcer on NXT. That was a very effective way of distributing her. I really appreciated how they brought her on screen slowly, and then they kind of distributed her in a very effective way, and she went from being a ring announcer to a valet to just someone who was on screen, and then eventually from that to a reality star and more of a full-time in-ring competitor.